I like being alone, not because I am fearless, and certainly not because I believe I am better than anyone else, but because I have grown tired of tolerating what does not align with me. There is a quiet kind of exhaustion that builds over time when you constantly allow things that disturb your peace, when you keep adjusting yourself just to maintain connections that were never truly balanced. It is not a loud realization. It does not happen in a single dramatic moment. Instead, it creeps in slowly, through repeated experiences, through conversations that leave you drained, through situations where you feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. And eventually, you reach a point where you begin to understand that your energy is too valuable to be given away carelessly. There was a time when I responded to everything out of politeness. Every message, every call, every request, no matter how inconvenient or unnecessary, felt like something I had to attend to. I believed that being available, being agreeable, and being accommodating were signs of good character. I did not want to appear rude, distant, or difficult, so I kept showing up even when it cost me my comfort. But over time, I began to notice something important. Not everyone who had access to me respected me. Some people were not drawn to my presence because they valued me. They were drawn to it because I made myself easily available. And there is a significant difference between being valued and being used. That realization changes everything. You begin to shift from responding out of habit to responding with intention. You stop reacting automatically and start evaluating the energy behind every interaction. You begin to ask yourself whether the person reaching out to you is doing so with genuine respect or simply out of convenience. And once you start making that distinction, your behavior naturally changes. You no longer feel obligated to respond to everything. You no longer feel guilty for choosing silence over unnecessary engagement. You begin to understand that respect is not something you demand loudly. It is something you quietly enforce through your boundaries. At some point, the fear of being alone is replaced by a much deeper and more important fear, the fear of being surrounded by the wrong people. Being alone may feel unfamiliar at first, but it does not harm you the way the wrong company can. The wrong people do not just take up space in your life. They influence your thoughts, your emotions, and your direction. They bring noise where there should be clarity, confusion where there should be understanding, and pressure where there should be peace. And the most dangerous part is that this influence often happens gradually, without you even realizing it. Many people assume that loneliness is the problem, but loneliness itself is not what causes pain. What truly hurts is misalignment. It is the experience of being in environments that do not reflect who you are or who you are trying to become. It is the discomfort of having to constantly adjust yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You can be surrounded by people and still feel disconnected, and that feeling is far more draining than solitude will ever be. Solitude, at the very least, gives you space to breathe, to think, and to reconnect with yourself. The wrong company, on the other hand, takes that away from you. This is why it becomes necessary to be intentional about who you allow into your life. Not everyone belongs in your space, and understanding that is not an act of arrogance but an act of self-awareness. Your time, your energy, and your attention are limited resources, and how you distribute them determines the quality of your life. When you allow the wrong influences into your environment, you are not just giving away your time, you are shaping your mindset in ways that may not serve you. The conversations you entertain, the behaviors you tolerate, and the people you keep around you all contribute to the direction your life takes. Creating a peaceful environment requires conscious effort. It requires you to define what you will accept and what you will no longer tolerate. Your space, whether physical or emotional, should not be open to everything and everyone. It should be protected. It should reflect the kind of life you are trying to build. If you allow drama, gossip, negativity, and inconsistency to exist freely within your space, they will eventually become part of your daily experience. But if you choose to filter what enters your environment, you create a different kind of life, one that is calmer, clearer, and more intentional. One practical way to begin this process is to pause before committing to anything and ask yourself a simple but powerful question. Does this protect my peace, or does it disturb it? This question creates a moment of awareness, a break between impulse and decision. It forces you to consider the impact of your choices rather than acting out of habit or obligation. Over time, consistently asking yourself this question will reshape how you approach your relationships and your responsibilities. You will begin to choose differently, and those choices will gradually improve the quality of your life. Another important realization is that effort reveals intention. People who truly value you will not leave you questioning your place in their lives. They will not offer half effort while expecting full access to you. They will not be inconsistent in their presence or careless with your time. Consistency is one of the clearest forms of respect, and once you begin to recognize that, your expectations naturally shift. You stop chasing validation, and you stop trying to convince people to treat you well. Instead, you observe. You pay attention to patterns. You listen to actions more than words, and based on what you see, you decide who deserves a place in your life. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means becoming selective. It means understanding that your life is not meant to be filled with temporary connections that add little value. You are building something more meaningful, something that requires depth, honesty, and consistency. And to achieve that, you must be willing to let go of what does not align with your standards. This process is not always easy, but it is necessary for growth. Spending time alone plays a crucial role in this transformation. Solitude provides the clarity that is often lost in constant interaction. When you are always surrounded by noise, other people's opinions, expectations, and distractions, it becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts. But when you step away from that noise, even briefly, you begin to reconnect with yourself. You start to understand what you truly want, what you truly value, and what you are no longer willing to accept. To make this more practical, consider setting aside time each day for quiet reflection. This does not have to be complicated or structured. It can be as simple as sitting in silence for a short period, allowing your thoughts to settle. At first, this may feel uncomfortable, especially if you are used to constant stimulation. But with time, it becomes easier, and the benefits become clearer. You begin to notice patterns in your behavior, recognize the sources of your stress, and gain insights into the changes you need to make. In addition to this, it can be helpful to reflect on your daily experiences by asking yourself a few key questions. What drained my energy today? What added value to my day? What will I allow or not allow moving forward? These questions encourage awareness, and awareness is the first step toward meaningful change. Without it, you may continue repeating the same patterns without realizing why you feel the way you do. Ultimately, solitude is not something to fear. It is not a sign of emptiness or failure. It is a space for clarity, growth, and self-discovery. It allows you to step back from external influences and focus on what truly matters. It helps you build a stronger sense of self, one that is not easily shaken by the opinions or actions of others. And most importantly, it teaches you how to protect your peace. Peace is not something that happens by accident. It is something you create through your choices and protect through your boundaries. Once you experience genuine peace, you begin to understand its value, and you become more careful about who and what you allow into your life. You realize that not everyone deserves access to you, and you become comfortable with that truth. Before you share your peace with others, you learn to protect it within yourself. Because once it is given to the wrong person, it can be difficult to regain. It takes time and effort to rebuild what has been disrupted, and that is why it is important to be intentional from the beginning. Choosing yourself, your clarity, and your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. If you have reached a point where you value your peace more than constant company, then you are already on a path that leads to a more intentional and fulfilling life. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences and the changes you may need to make. Sometimes, the most powerful transformations begin in silence, in the quiet decision to choose yourself over what no longer serves you.